And now we're going live. There we are. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, look at the spooky behind the spookies. It is Saturday. And I tell you what. Well, you know what's interesting? I'm going to talk about that, Big Red. Very interesting with the dowsing rods. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, everybody. Hello, welcome to the presentation. Thank you so much, and happy Saturday to you guys. I tell you what. Well, here we are. Hello there, everybody. Welcome. Of course, I had to put sub chat very quickly on TikTok. Imagine that. I wonder why. Anyway, so thank you guys for those of you who are subscribed to the channel on TikTok. I appreciate that, guys. You guys can chat. Trolls, we don't want you here. Bye-bye. But everybody else, hello. Happy Saturday to you. It really makes them mad when I say that. Yeah, I tell you what, it is going by fast. It is just, man, this week, it just seemed like it just started. I mean, it was just like last week I was working on the homilies, and now I've finally just finished up the homilies for this coming week, because I do about 21 homilies a week. So actually a little more. So man, is it me, or is it you? Do you guys think that it's going by fast as well? Yeah, it just seems like it's just flying by. I don't get it. All right, for those of you just tuning in, yeah, you see the background behind me because this is Happy Saturday. This is our paranormal Saturday. This is our chill out Saturday. And I've been called everything but my name by, the people who have two brain cells, the trolls, because I have a background, a spooky background. Pity. It's amazing how they don't like my background, but yet they don't ever buy me a new one. I wonder why. Oh, that's right. You're too busy being negative. Gotcha. All right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Mark, no question about it. No question. So, everybody, let me give you some business before we get into the fun-filled, exciting presentation. And if you guys want to subscribe, you're more than welcome to on TikTok. If not, you can still watch. You just can't troll. Look, guys, I would like for you to do us a favor and go to our sponsors' websites. And that is KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. KGRAD, thank you there, Angela. KGRADB.com/shop. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on my name when you click on shop and buy all the products there. Just buy all of them. Now, again, the trolls are going to say, I knew you were fake. Shoo. Actually, 100% of the profits that I would make, we are donating to the MKS Kids Foundation. It's an orphanage. So the fact that our community is actually doing something good for another organization is probably causing the trolls' heads to spin anyway. That's what happens. They're very vulnerable. You got to understand. They're emotionally vulnerable people. Okay. So, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's great that we are helping this MKS Kids Foundation. They are an orphanage. They are in Africa, and I'll tell you what, guys, it is truly remarkable. Every penny helps. So, well, thank you there. And I appreciate you guys buying the products. So I contacted KGREDB Radio, and I said, okay, let's sell these items, but let's make sure we're giving the profits to this orphanage, because I want our community to do this. Because I think for us, first of all, you're buying amazing products. They're really cool. They're St. Michael, St. Benedict they're really beautiful items. And they have the ball caps now, brand new one. Really cool caps. Baseball caps. So you're buying great products, and at the same time, you're doing something really, really wonderful. And helping some kids, in Uganda. Why not? And I know people say, well, we got to help people here too. Well, we can do both. It's not an either or situation. We're allowed to do both. You can help here and you can help, so why not? So again, it's KGRADB.com and click on the shop. Oh, you order a hoodie. Fantastic. That's great there, Suzy Q. Thank you for doing that. Suzy Q says she's ordered a hoodie as well as donated to their organization. That's beautiful. Surely, I mean, their life, I'm telling you guys, I sent a couple of messages. We are making a difference in these kids' lives. And so just know that. They have already made several videos showing the food and, the wonderful things that we're doing for them. So you ordered a coffee mug? That's great. Okay, and now if you want to go to my website, it's very simple. It's bishopjameslong.com. That's easy. If you're really bored, have nothing else better to do, well, go to bishopjameslong.com, head on over yonder and check it out. And that's what that is. More importantly, a lot of people ask about the church. Go to usocc.org. It's all there for you guys. usocc.org. It answers all your questions. We have an FAQ section. Validity section. Are we valid? Do we have apostolic succession? Blah, blah, blah. It's all there. All there. So head on over yonder if you want to. Now, let me remind you that tomorrow we have Bible study. And I am happy to say I was able to do a lot of work today. So the website is completely updated for next week's Bible study and night prayer scripts for those of you who follow us. So the Bible study readings are on the website right now for tomorrow. So our Bible study is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Judy Ann will be with me, and we'll do our Bible study lesson and continuing our authors of the Bible. And then Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we pray. So people keep telling us we need to pray the Psalms. Well, you need to don't judge us and actually show up, and you'll find out that we pray the Psalms every single night, Monday through Friday. And that's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And one more thing, don't forget, we also have the Rosary. Thank you. So if you want to pray the Rosary online, perhaps maybe you don't know how to pray the Rosary, that's okay. We have the Rosary every Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all you got to do is go to usocc.org, click on the Rosary link, and just follow the instructions there. And there you go. So we have a lot of ministry options for you guys. And I think that's important. That's important, you know. And so, oh, that's wonderful, Jonathan. Okay. What is that, Jonathan? Is that an actual location that needs assistance? Or is that a paranormal location? Yeah, because I'm not familiar with that one. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk about this item, or this, first of all, before we get into our show. Well, thank you. Sunday. Nicholas offered a Sunday. Thank you, guys. My friends are offering gifts on TikTok. I appreciate that very, very much, guys. And by the way, if I don't thank you, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I run the show on 2 different computers. Thank you. And sometimes I don't see the gifts on TikTok. Okay. And maybe we'll turn the chat on a little bit later, once all the trolls go away, once they realize that we're not paying attention to them like pestilent little children, then we'll probably turn the chat back on, okay, for everybody. So just hang out for that. All right. So let's talk about this Earth, and let's talk about this item or this object that's heading towards Earth, because a lot of people are talking about this, and I want to chat about this, okay? Because there's a lot of rumors, and you're going to hear more and more and more and more about this. So let me just give this article to you. For those of you who don't know, today is our Paranormal Saturday. Friday, I did a lecture, and then we have a lot of articles that we don't get to on Friday, so we have the articles today. And really a lot of cool articles, but I want to talk about this first. And this is by the Daily Mail. This is by Stacy Liberatori. Anyway, the exact date says here, as alien probe is set to arrive at Earth, is chilling warning is issued. So a Harvard scientist has issued a chilling warning about a mysterious, all these stupid advertisements, interstellar object hurtling through our solar system, and says it could spell disaster for Earth. Professor Avi Loeb, thank you very much. Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. Or Loeb, I'm sorry, who is well known for pushing bold and often polarizing theories about extraterrestrial life, has been tracking the object named 3I Atlas. 3L Atlas, I think it's I, since it was first spotted in July 1st. If the object is an alien craft, Loeb warned it could be carrying a probe or even a weapon, and he predicted that such an intercept vehicle would reach Earth between November the 21st and December 5th this year. Now, the timeline is based on calculations that 3I Atlas will pass behind the sun from Earth's perspective this October, a time that he suggested could be used to prepare the attack. Referring to the object as a, quote, mother ship, he explained that its position, now this guy's in Harvard. So we're talking about a highly intelligent man. But I think I'm intelligent too. Anyway, he explained that its position would be an efficient way to seed habitable planets with probes. Thank you. The strategy would allow the devices to intercept the planets while the mothership continues on its journey to the next star. It may come to save us or destroy us, and we better be ready for both options and check whether all stellar objects are rocks, said Loeb. So, yeah, right. Here's what I think this is. And you can remember this. I encourage you. I encourage you to remember this. I think this is a comet. That is what I think this is. We do have, I think, a satellite or so near Jupiter that is eventually going to fly into Jupiter and then terminate. And we're going to get evidence, basically data from this occurring. Now, it is quite possible that this vehicle could easily stay around Jupiter and then take, obviously photos, pictures of this item. Here's what I do. This is what I believe, and I'm a space nerd. I'm going to tell you through and through. I am absolutely 100% convinced, without question, this is a comet. And I'll tell you why. I saw a video of it not too long ago, actually just I think a day or so, and it's very blurry. But with comets, especially when it's rather far from the sun, you'll see it's almost like things are coming off of it, if you will. It's blurry, but it looks like sharp objects on the outside of it. That is a telltale sign of a comet. What's happening at that moment is as the comet enters our solar system and gets closer, obviously, to the sun, even though it's still pretty far out, but nonetheless, you're talking about outer space where it was, interstellar, where it was very, very cold. And as it enters into our solar system, even as far as Pluto, the temperature is going to change. And when you have that, well, thank you there, Mandy. When you have that, the icicles off the comet will basically disintegrate. That's typical. This, in my opinion, 100%, friends, it is a comet. I'm telling you, this is not an alien craft in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I know that that doesn't sizzle or it doesn't make people excited. And I know that if I came up here and said, oh my gosh, this definitely looks like an alien craft to me, and everybody, that would get all kinds of views, wouldn't it? But it would be a lie. I just talked about this, Mark. It is a comet. I am convinced without question. I want you to remember this date. For those of you, August the 2nd, 2025, I am telling you now, this is a comet. It could be an asteroid, but really, I think more so it's a comet, only because of the icicles, and you can clearly see it disintegrating as it gets into our solar system. So just remember this. Remember this, friends. Well, yeah, but it's so far away, Debbie, we don't have the ability to see the tail. That's why there is a vehicle, if you will, in Jupiter, near Jupiter, that could easily change its trajectory and take photos of this item passing by. This is a comet. It is. And I promise you, as it gets closer and as it gets closer and as it gets closer, I want you to remember this date, August 2nd. August 2nd, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not an alien craft, so you don't have to worry about. People are legitimately worried. You don't have to. You don't, guys. Okay. Right. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So I wanted to pass that on. I know it's not fun. I know it's the kind of like, boo. But okay. All right, Deb, what is the difference between a comet and a meteor? Okay, let me explain. Remember, friends, I went to space camp as a kid. So I'm a nerd through and through. I went to Huntsville, Alabama, in their space camp when it was in its infancy. And so I am a nerd through and through. I am a never-ending radical dude. That's how nerdy I am. That's what we actually, Anyway, all right, a comet is a celestial object. It's made up of ice and dust, rock, that basically orbits the sun in an elongated orbit. A comet comes close to the sun and it releases like gases, and then it forms a glowing coma is what it's called, and sometimes a tail due to the solar and the radiation. Thank you. Now, on the other hand, a meteorite, that's a solid piece of debris from a comet, like an asteroid, and or a planet that survives its passage through the Earth's atmosphere, lands on the surface of the Earth. What's interesting about this particular comet is, obviously it entered into our solar system, so the trajectory is odd for a comet. It's not impossible. It's just a little odd, but that's okay. Did I watch Star Trek? I did, but matter of fact, I have an autograph shirt of William Shatner. B Jelly. How many of you? Really, it is true. It is an autographed Star Trek, picture, or not a picture. I'm sorry, uniform, basically. And are you jealous? I do. Would you guys like to see this? Yeah, William Shatner, he signed it. Would you want to see it? Okay. All right. Hang tight. I'll show it. Hold on. 1 second. Let me grab something here. I'm just going to play a very, very quick little video for you guys. So I'll be right back. Here we go. All right. Boys and girls, children of all ages, feast your eyes. There it is. William Shatner's signature. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Yep. Comes with a letter of authenticity. And yeah. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. All right. Let me move this over here. So there we go. I was gonna bring my doll. I told my sister I was gonna do that, but I thought I just don't want to bring that doll in here. I was gonna show the doll, but I don't know. Am I giving that away? No. This is a serious collector's item here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. No, do I wear it now? No, I don't wear it. I never ever put it on. I just want to keep it, pristine. What I need to do is put like a plastic cover over it because it is valuable. So, yeah. But I also have an Elvis scarf, 1977, a last scarf that he gave out in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's one of the great big, huge, gigantic square. Oh yeah, the doll. No, I didn't bring the doll in. I was like, you know what? I just. Oh yeah, it's an actual real Elvis scarf, and it's one of the great big, the blue. It's a baby blue one. It's a huge square scarf. Yeah. So, yeah, I have that. So it's pretty cool. The doll is what was on Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists. So if you've not seen that show, I'm a cast member on the show called Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists. Basically, is it a show where they put exorcists from different denominations together, and we talked about our cases, and they had actors recreate the scenes. And so the doll that I had received from the family was pretty horrible. So would you do it? Oh, let me tell you something. If Jeff Bezos says, absolutely, you're more than welcome to I would, if Jeff Bezos contacted me and said, would you like to hop on this rocket and get, into space for a few minutes, few seconds? Heck yes. In a heartbeat. I would definitely wear it then. Yeah. But the problem is I don't know Jeff Bezos, and I don't think Jeff Bezos is going to give me a seat there. considering the fact that it's $250,000 a ticket. So although William Shatner, they did comp his seat because, number one, I mean, that was huge publicity for him. But, if Jeff Bezos says, yep, would you like to? Yes, let's go. Yeah, Jeff is watching. Hey, Jeff, contact me, man. You got to contact me, buddy. A clergy, perhaps the first clergy in space. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, let's. I would do it. Heck yeah, I would. Are you kidding me? Now, let me explain this also, because people are saying that, the last time that they went up, it was fake and all this stuff. No, it was not. No, it was not. Yes, it was, Bishop Long, because they opened the door from the inside. Okay, friends, the reason is SpaceX is pressurized because SpaceX goes to space. Jeff Bezos' rocket goes right there to the edge of space where you feel weightlessness, but the pressurization is not required as it is like a SpaceX rocket. So in that case, you can open the inside from that. That's not an issue at all. So I want to explain that. And then people say, well, yeah, but there weren't any burnt marks on the aircraft when it returned. There wouldn't be, because that's not reentry. SpaceX, when you have a SpaceX go to, like, for International Space Shuttle or space station, and then they come down, well, yeah, they're going to reentry. So in that case, they're going to have those burning marks from atmosphere. But no, you're not going to have that because they don't enter into that part of space where there is reentry. So I had to make a video on that because people kept doing that. It's like, guys, come on, that's just not cool. But no, well. Right, there were no tiles that was needed because it doesn't enter into that area like a SpaceX rocket does. It requires that. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let's get into our articles, because we have a lot of very, very cool articles. I don't know about this thing that there. I'll tell you what. Okay, let me. Okay, as if life is not difficult enough, let me just tell you about a little topic that maybe you haven't heard about. Maybe you have. I don't know. If you have not, guess what, friends? There are now radioactive wasps. This is a true story. Listen to this. Radioactive wasp. Thank you for subscribing. For those of you just tuning in, hello. I'm Bishop Long, and we're chill. Yeah, I think so too, Chrissy. First clergy in space. Make it so, Jeff Bezos. Make it so. Make it happen. That'd be one hell of a live, wouldn't it? That would be one heck of a live. Okay, TK Randall writes this. Now, here's what's even worse, isn't it? A radioactive wasp nest is found, thank you very much, at the nuclear facility in South Carolina. Oh, yeah, Jax? All right there, buddy. All right, so concerns have been raised following the discovery at the former nuclear weapons facility near Aiken. As if ordinary wasps weren't enough of a nuisance, the idea of radioactive wasp entering your home is enough to make anyone think twice about keeping the windows open. According to reports, the radioactive nest was discovered by workers during a routine inspection of the Savannah River site near Aiken back at the start of July. And it was located on a post near to where millions of gallons of liquid nuclear waste are stored, and exhibited radiation levels 10 times higher than those permissible under current regulations. The wasp, now this is quote, okay, all right. Starlet says, I'm contacting his PR with a petition. We can, you know what? Let's do it. I'm so there. I am so going to space. Anyway, it says here, quote, the wasp nest was sprayed to kill wasp, then bagged as radiological waste. The U.S. Department of Energy wrote in a report that was published last week. Now, despite these measures, no actual wasps were found in the nest. And it was noted that even when there were wasps there, thank you, they would have been a lot less radioactive than the nest itself. Also, The wasps were unlikely to have flown far from the nest anyway. How do you know? Even so, the find has unnerved people living both in the areas and elsewhere. Quote, I am mad as a hornet that the SRS didn't explain where the radioactive waste came from, or if there is some kind of leak from the waste tanks that the public should be aware of. Tom Clements of the Savannah River Site Watch Group told Associated Press. So there we go, friends. Now we have radio. Now, people, they say, no need to worry, but as the old saying goes, when politicians say no need to worry, then you need to worry. I mean, it's like, really, this is not what we need. And recently, very odd with that earthquake occurring in Russia. And then, of course, with the earthquake came the volcano. Well, guess what? There's more good news. Daily Mail reports, experts warn hidden earthquake threat beneath North America could strike at any moment. Well, yay! A previously quiet fault line beneath North America is now feared to be a ticking time bomb, and experts warn it could unleash a devastating earthquake with no warning, shaking parts of the United States. Canadian scientists have discovered that the Tentina Fault, located just 12 miles from Dawson City in the Yukon, has been silently building up underground pressure and may be on the verge of erupting in a massive quake. The fault runs beneath highways, rivers, critical infrastructure, and stretches into the interior Alaska, raising fears that it could send tremors into British Columbia, Alberta, Montana, according to seismologists. And Dr. Michael West, state seismologist at Alaska Earthquake Center, told the Daily Mail, quote, this new study shows it has been quietly building toward a potentially very large earthquake. It is one of the least studied fault systems in North America, and that needs to be changed. One section alone is approximately 81 miles long and could generate a magnitude 7.5 earthquake or greater, strong enough to shatter roads, destroy pipelines, trigger landslides across both Canada and the United States. Now, researchers warn that the consequences could be devastating if the fault breaks, especially since the Tentina fault has been largely overlooked compared to more famous faults like San Andreas that extend over 750 miles through California. Well, that is just wonderful. The potential earthquake could significantly affect critical infrastructure like the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, particularly for those living in remote areas with limited earthquake preparedness. Dr. Theron Finley, a recent PhD graduate from the University of Victoria and lead author of the study, said the fault may be at least at a late stage of a seismic cycle. It is quietly built up around 20 inches of slip that could be released in a single catastrophic event. So right now, we don't know. They don't know when it could, but it could occur at any moment. Well, that's just great. I mean, that's just, yeah. Isn't that wonderful? That's what we need. More worry about, but we have to report this. Now, for those of you who don't know, there is the New Madrid fault line. The New Madrid fault line. You know, I've never been to Lizzie Borden's house. It'd be interesting to go there. The New Madrid fault line, for those of you who don't know, also it's a major seismic area. Has the Mississippi Valley and even to the Rocky Mountains, Kentucky. So it would affect Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois. And in 1811 and 1812, the New Madrid fault line, there was an earthquake. It was so powerful that it made the Mississippi River run backwards. Now that, my friends, is at any moment we could have a major earthquake at New Madrid fault line. So we just simply don't know when that could happen. That's kind of scary if you think about this. It's like, great. Yeah, the New Madrid fault line. And many seismologists says, you know, it's due. So, San Andreas. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Bigfoot. Bigfoot, TK Randall. Our buddy writes this: a fast moving human, well, creature, if you will, some people say human, was inadvertently picked up on a camera by a man who was out with his dogs in the mountains. The intriguing clip was recently sent to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization by a man identified only as Bill, who captured the alleged creature on film back in the May of this year. The action takes place primarily within the first few seconds of the video, with the alleged Sasquatch appearing briefly among the trees in the background at the top of the left of the frame. It moves quickly from left to right before hunkering down behind some thicker foliage. Now, while the region is certainly known to be hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, the reaction to this particular clip has been mixed. Some believe the footage genuinely depicts a Bigfoot. Others remain skeptical, citing a lack of clarity. So the creature's rapid movement and its distinctly human-like gait. Anyway, so this could be a genuine evidence of undiscovered Bigfoot, if you will, roaming the wilds of California, or is it simply someone in a Bigfoot costume pulling a prank? So you can check it out if you want to. You can go online, and it's for, just type in the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, Bigfoot, recent captured, well, it was recent actually. So take a look at it, see what you think. I saw the video. It's just too grainy. I mean, it really is. For me, it's kind of like, I mean, there's something there, but it's so grainy. It's kind of hard for say, yep, that's a Bigfoot, So I don't know. Take a look at it, see what you think. But nonetheless, I'm not 100% sold on that. Now let's keep on with our Bigfoot conversation, because this is cray-cray. I don't know about this one. Listen to this, guys. This is crazy. If Bigfoot exists, I don't think it's demonic, because the whole purpose of a demonic or a demon is if there's intent behind it, to cause havoc and pain and suffering in our lives, because we're created in the image of God. So it wants to desecrate the imago of Yahweh, the image of God. But listen to this. This was very weird. When I read this, I thought, oh, come on, what the heck is this? So T.K. Randall writes this: a controversy surrounds Denver Seminary's bizarre Yeti blood oath. The incident, which involved a group from Denver's St. John Vianney Theological Seminary, occurred during a ski trip. A very strange story from Denver, Colorado made local news headlines earlier this month. It involved a group of 15 seminarians who had been studying at Denver's St. John Vianney Theological Seminary when they were taking on a skiing trip to a house in the mountains by the rector of the time, Father John Nepil. Well, according to reports, the group had been awoken in the middle of the night and were told to sit silently in the living room and wait to be called one by one into a trailer that was sitting outside. Upon entering the trailer, the seminarians reported being faced with not only Father Nepil, but an individual wearing a full Yeti costume. They were told to sit at a table on which sat a dagger. Thank you there, Jeff. And a dollar bill. The seminarian would then be told to lay their arm on the table and make a blood oath to enter into this family, or by way of a sacred tradition, seemingly involving being cut by a knife. Who the hell would think this is a good idea? Anyway, those who committed, however, were never actually harmed, instead being considered devoted enough to have their own blood substituted in the ritual with bear blood. Anyway, They were then told to scream at the top of their lungs to show commitment to this tradition. Unsurprisingly, once word got out about the ritual, the incident went on to generate a great deal of controversy. You think? Even the police were called out, though they took no action in this case. In the end, it was revealed that the whole thing had been an ill-judged prank. Quote, members of St. John Vianney Theological Seminary, the community were filmed participating in a prank, being asked to take a blood oath and other imprudent behavior. Archdiocese of Denver said, this is Catholic. This is Roman Catholic. Quote, fortunately, the investigation uncovered that the event was farce, that no oath had taken place, and at no time was there risk of bodily harm. It was, however, part of a deeply imprudent and inappropriate prank. What do you say to that? And this is the rector, a rector of the seminary, thought that that would be funny to do a blood oath to Bigfoot. Are you stupid? Why would you do something that anyway, there we go, folks. And this is a Roman Catholic. This is a Roman Catholic seminary. Whew. I tell you what, guys, this is I don't know. Okay, but anyway, it happened. It happened. Yeah, and who agreed with him on this idea? I mean, why would you do something that, oh yeah, he was removed, I assume. Okay, speaking of cray-cray, listen to this one. Randall writes this as well. Minnesota man unalives his neighbor because he thought he was an alien from outer space. This bizarre case saw a 30-year-old man that unalived his neighbor while believing her to be an extraterrestrial. The incident began last week when a witness, who presumably lived at the man's home, recalled being woken up in the middle of the night by the suspect to be told that their neighbor, a 70-year-old woman, was in fact an alien from outer space, and that a spaceship was coming to take them away. The man then reportedly called the neighbor up and asked her to come around to help him with something. And when she arrived, he unalived her with a weapon. Somehow, she was able to make it back to her house. And while first responders were initially able to ask her what happened, she sadly succumbed to her wounds and passed away shortly thereafter. The suspect was later apprehended after breaking into a nearby home. Exactly why the man had believed that his neighbor was an alien is unclear, but it would be reasonable to assume that he was either experiencing mental health problems or was under the influence. Whatever the case, the fear of being carried away in a spaceship prompted him to commit this terrible act. And he will appear in court on August the 8th. That is, you know what? That is terrifying. If you really think about that, even if this is why I require psychological evaluation before I will go to someone's home. If someone tells me that they are possessed, there's one of a couple things that's going on here. And these are the things that I came up with. One, they're lying just to get attention. Two, they're mistaken. And whatever it is that they're going through, it can be explained. Three, there's some type of psychosis going on, mental illness. Four, they're telling the truth. The problem is, guys, is when someone tells me that they believe they are possessed with a demon. That is a problem because, and is it possible? Sure. It's rare, but it does occur. And so I have to have a psychological evaluation. I'll tell you the story once. I told you this before. For those of you who are new, you may not have heard this before. I remember going to a woman's house, and this was when I was just beginning ministry. I didn't really have any help. I was doing it all by myself. And it was a pretty good distance. But she was an elderly lady, and she was absolutely terrified that there was this demon in her home. And she was begging me, please get here, I'm afraid. My heart broke, obviously. So I drove all the way. I can't remember. It was such a long time ago, maybe Michigan. And I showed up, and you park in the back. And in the back, there's like a little porch, a screen porch, and you go in, and then you go through the back. And that's where her kitchen was. And as she came out, she was so happy. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Everything was good. Everything was fine. No red flags going off. Very sweet. And as she said, yeah, I need you to come in. So I went into the kitchen, and there were thousands of puncture holes in the wall. I mean, I looked everywhere. It was everywhere, on the ceiling, on the walls, everywhere. And I mean, there was even some of it looked like drywall that was falling over. I mean, it was thousands. And when I asked her, I said, what are all these holes in the wall here? This is a problem. And then she took out a broom, and she had cut the broom, the end of the broom, and she had duct taped a massive, like a Michael Myers butcher knife at the end of this broom. And then she took this and she said, every time I see that demon, I stab it. That sent shivers down my back. And I slowly backed away. I said, I tell you what, I got to get some items in the car. And she said, and she had that broom, it was tight. I mean, she was holding that. And I thought, no, because, and then I left. I had to. People say, well, that wasn't very nice. You got to understand something. That person could easily have seen the demon in me, because obviously she was dealing with psychosis. She could have seen the demon right in front of me. And I was there by myself. So I was not going to do anything. I was like, no. That was terrifying. That could have been a life-threatening situation. And isn't that the truth, Mark? No. So that was a very scary situation. So I backed away, and I said, no. Oh yeah, and Becky, I'll check your message a little bit later as well. Okay. This is very interesting. I saw this and I thought, well, what do you think about this? How many of you believe in fairies? Yep, I said fairies. How many of you believe in fairies? I'm really curious. If you say yes, no. Really? Pass away. Oh, yeah, certainly will. So there's a lot of no. There's some yes. Your ex-husband. Well, hello there, Becky. So, yep. Okay, so it's kind of, looks like half and half. Ken Mills, okay. Well, listen to this story. Randall writes this as well. An infamous Cottingley Fairy photograph to be sold at auction. If you have not heard about this, over 100 years ago, two young girls shocked the world with their photographs of what they claim were real-life fairies. Keep in mind, this was far before AI or filters. Okay, so let's just make that clear. The picture is very interesting. If you have not seen it, Elsie Wright and Frances Griffith, two young cousins, who would often play next to a stream at the bottom of their garden, repeatedly claimed that they had seen fairies there. To prove it, Elsie borrowed her father's camera, and the girls set out about capturing some photographs. To everyone's surprise, the pair had managed to produce a set of very convincing, for the time, images showing what appeared to be actual fairies, often with one of the girls sitting beside them. Yeah, but there's debate on that. So the images were so convincing. Listen to this. They were so convincing, in fact, that they quickly went public and became headline news. Many believe the fairies should be real, including author and spiritualist Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who included the photos in a magazine article that he had written. Now, the mystery of the Cottingley fairies would go on to endure for over 60 years until finally, in 1983, the two cousins admitted that the photographs had been faked, using cut-out illustrations from a book. Both, however, remain adamant that they had genuinely seen fairies at the bottom of their garden, even though they admitted it was fake. Now, more than 100 years after the photographs were taken, 2 copies of the originals are set to go up for sale at auction in England, and both are expected to sell for thousands of pounds. And the photographs had originally been gifted to Mary Anderson, a school friend of Francis, and she believed their story her whole life and was shocked when it was revealed that the pictures had been faked. And she wanted to throw them out, but her family stopped her. Anyway, thankfully, she wanted to throw the pictures out. It's just as well that they did, as the photographs are now worth a small fortune. I mean, it was okay. You got to admit, they shouldn't have done that because they're lying. They lied. But I mean, back in the day, 100 years ago, I mean, who knows? Okay, next question that I have for you. How many of you believe in Mothman? I'd be curious. I'm very curious how many of you actually believe in Mothman. And thank you for the likes. Thank you for the 90,000 likes, everybody. And thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that very much. Oh, the dowsing rods. I'll get that in just a second. Okay. Nope. So they're saying yes. There's some yes. There's some no. In Ireland today, they will not cross the fairy rings in Ireland. Wow. Well, if you are interested in the Mothman or Mothman in general, well, you might want to be interested in this. This is by Chad Vaughn. This is by River City's Tribune and Register. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello there, Jason. Welcome. Listen to this, guys. A Mothman festival returns to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, with lineup of paranormal speakers. Okay. So the Mothman Festival returns to Point Pleasant in September 20th to the 21st. The event has grown in recent years to become one of the most popular attractions in the state. Organizers have announced a full roster of paranormal experts who will speak at this year's event. Richard Hatem is best known as a screenwriter and producer of the supernatural and paranormal-themed film and television. His credits include Mothman Prophecies, Grimm, Supernatural, The Gates, Titans. Also, he hosts Richard Hatem's Paranormal Bookshelf. Joey Medea is an award-winning screenwriter, playwright, novelist, actor, and paranormal investigator. Dave Spinks is a paranormal investigator with more than 3 decades of experience. Joe Perdue and Ron Lanham are co-founders of Wild and Weird West Virginia. Dr. Bill Kosulas, who holds a PhD in positive psychology. Steve Ward, a Point Pleasant resident, longtime Mothman researchers, and other emerging paranormal experts and writers are scheduled to appear at the festival. So, in addition to speaker lineup, organizers have announced musical performances as well. So, if you're interested, the Mothman Festival is coming in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, September the 20th through the 21st. I've never been to the Mothman Festival. Never. I've never seen it. I've never experienced it, but I've heard it's a lot of fun. Now, in Scarefest, Jason, are you going to be in Scarefest this year? Jason McLeod? my buddy. I will be at Scarefest, this year. This year, everybody. October the 17th through the 19th. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. And so I will be there. I'll be giving a presentation, and looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun, doing a speech on demonology. It's been a while since I've been to Scarefest. But I always have a great time there. It's always a lot of fun. There's a lot of paranormal enthusiasts and people from all around. They'll be there as well. So yeah, there's a huge lineup. I'm just going through all the lineup. My gosh, there's a lot of folks coming. It's usually a pretty big. Yeah, Jason. I haven't done Scarefest in a while, and actually, this is the only paranormal event I'm doing this year. But boy, I'm looking through. My word, that's a lot of people. You can go to scarefestweekend.com. Scarefestweekend.com, and wow, that's a lot. That is a lot of people. So yeah. And speakers, let me just double checking. I think Saturday. Let me double check. Yep. Saturday, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Is when I'm going to be doing a presentation on demonology and possession. And it'll be truth versus fiction. So it'll be Saturday. Not this Saturday. Again, it's October the 18th. So if you are, tickets are still available. And I don't know I have no idea if it'd be streamed. I don't know if they do that or not. I'm not for sure. But you can go to scarefestweekend.com and click on the speakers. And then you can scroll down to where it says 6 p.m. Saturday on, yep. And there it is. They have a lot of really cool speakers. I'm looking at the speaker list. A lot of really neat folks. And I think that's what I love about, the paranormal. It's so diverse. So anyway, that's in. Oh, you're at Connecticut Horror Fest. Got it. I got it. Okie doke. So anyway, there you go, guys. Scarefest weekend. Scarefest week. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Lori. Lewis. That's right. And don't forget to go to my friend Dark Siege, Jason McLeod's website, darksiege.com. You guys I told you, you got to get the books. Got to get the books. Don't forget. I always like to, promote, and I think it's important, especially if it's quality. If it's quality, get it. So all those of you who are on TikTok and everywhere else, darksiege.com. Darksiege.com. And you need to head over there and buy those books. Okay, cool. All right, Jason. All right, great. Really these are good books. So, yeah, Angela, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I mean, look, I've been to paranormal conferences for nearly 25 years now. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great information and education, which I think is also very important. So people just need to go and have a good time and just enjoy it. So, yes, it is. GR. Yeah. And I think that will be there as well on Saturday or that weekend. I want to talk, a Big Red, you were asking about dowsing rods. Listen to this. This is very weird. I can't explain this. Yeah. Slender Man. Yeah. Okay, for those of you who do dowsing rods, help me with this. You have to help me understand this. Because I will admit my knowledge and my experience with dowsing rods is limited. Okay. I saw and I don't understand. So I was recently I was at a local cemetery, and I met the person who's in charge of, making sure all the graves are properly placed, and they have a spreadsheet of who's buried where, and and, spots available, just your typical stuff. I mean, he's in charge of that. That was his job. And I was at the cemetery and I saw him with the dowsing rods, and he was walking at the graves, and it was crossing, and then it was opening and all this, and then it had one of them, and then it would go left or it would go right. And I thought, okay, I really thought this was a paranormal investigator. No, but listen to this, guys. Oh, you have a defeating the dim. Oh, good. And Jason McLeod also has a defeating the demonic DVD is available. That was a good presentation, by the way. We had several exorcists on that platform. So make sure you go Dark Siege. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But listen, well, he wasn't looking for water. So remember, I'm going to remove Instagram because no one's watching it on Instagram anyway, and I don't like Instagram. Okay. So this is what he was doing. And remember, he was in charge of the graves and putting everything, making sure all their spreadsheets and everything was updated. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to walk over to him. I'm in my clerics, and I'm thinking I'm going to walk over to him, just talk to him. And I went over there, and he was an older gentleman. I said, I introduced myself, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And I just noticed, are you a paranormal investigator? And he said, no. He said, what? He goes, are you a paranormal investigator? He said, no, I'm not a paranormal investigator. I said, well, then I'm really curious what you're doing with the rods. And he explained who he was. He was the caretaker, and he, again, updating all his charts. I said, but I don't understand. Why are you doing the rods? Is it because, are you looking for a water line or I don't know, what are you doing with them? He said, no, I can tell where bodies are buried. I said, what? He said, yeah, I can absolutely tell where the bodies are buried. I said, well, you can tell that because there's grave. I mean, you see the gravestone. It's not rocket science. He said, no, but the problem is a lot of, this is it was an older part of the cemetery, and many people at that time couldn't afford or did not have gravestones. And so he showed me, and he showed me how to do it. So you walk, and it will cross when it's over. Now, I'm telling you, I saw it, and it will cross when it's over a body like this, and then when it's not, it'll open up. And he walked a little bit more, and it crossed, and it opened up. And then he told me something, Becky, and then he said something, and I thought, that's not true. That is not true. He said, I can also tell you if it's a male or female. I said, come on, no, you can't. I'm sorry. That I've got it. My BS meter went off. I said, there's no way. There's no way. He said, I've been doing this for 45 years, and I'm telling you right now, in 45 years, do you know how many years I've been wrong? 0. So that's his job. I mean, he goes over these graves and unmarked graves, and when it crosses, he knows exactly where it is, where someone is buried, where there's a spot that's open in the older, because that's his job. And he's been right for 45 years. So I said, I want to put you to the test. And he said, okay, fine. I said, I did it. I don't care. I said, I'm going to blindfold you. And I'm going to take you to down here, and I want you to walk, and you got to come with me that way. Because if he was a caretaker, and I didn't want him to know where we were in the cemetery, if he was going over a male or female grave. And I said, okay, so we blindfolded. I made sure he couldn't see. I made sure of that. And he was game. He was excited to teach me about this. And so we went several aisles up. And he said, okay, he only had one rod. He did not 2, just 1. And I said, okay. And I walked across the grave, and he said, whoa. And he felt it go left. And because I told him, I said, this is a grave. To be fair, I said, this is a grave. I said, is it male or female? It went left. It was male. And he said, it's a male. I looked at the gravestone. It was male. I said, okay. And we walked a little further to the next gravestone. It went to the right. He said, it's female. It was a female. I was so confused that I went through 20 stones, 20. And he was right on every single one of them. If it was right, it was a female. If it was left, it was a male. I don't understand. I saw it. I was there. I witnessed it. And then I had it because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see for myself. So I walked past several of the tombstones, and of course it X'd when I was over a body. I purposely did not look at the tombstone because I didn't want to see it. And I held the one out, and it either went right as a female or left. And then I looked at the tombstone, and it was right. There it is. It was 100% right. This man, by the way, is a very, very devout Christian. He is a caretaker for the cemetery. And he was, obviously there's an older part of the cemetery and there's a newer part. And the older part, unfortunately, they didn't have very good paperwork then at that time and documentation. And so he's never been wrong. He's never reburied somebody on top of another person. He's always been right. 45 years. I see the water thing. I get it. Even a pipeline, I could see that. But I mean, how can they tell if it's a body that's buried there? And even how can they tell the gender? But I saw it. So he was 100% right. He was 100% right. So I don't know how it works. I don't. Well, actually, there was, Deborah, there was a husband and a wife that was buried right next to each other. And so I walked him through it, purposely did that to see what it would do. And the husband was buried first and then the wife. So he walked and the dowsing rod went left. He said, that's a male. I said, okay. And I didn't tell him if that was a couple or not. I walked a little bit more and he felt it go right. He said, well, that's a female. That must be a couple. He was right. A vibration, yeah, frequency vibration. So, right, it was there. I saw it. I can't explain it, but it is interesting. It is very, very, very interesting. But even with the energy, you would think, I mean, that's why I was thinking maybe obviously some form of residual energy. But that was fascinating. To me, that was fascinating. And, really interesting. Yeah. So anyway, don't forget, everybody, make sure you go to my friend Jason McLeod. He's in our Facebook chat. Go to his website, darksiege.com. Jason, you can put your website up there for everybody. Make sure you go there, darksiege.com. And if you do that, he has the brand new DVD out. I was a part of his panel, and it was a lot of fun. It was Defeating the Demonic DVD, and it was good. That was really good. It's a very interesting panel. Yeah, it is, because I love things like that. Things that I can't explain logically. I didn't see this as demonic at all. Remember, this guy is a very devout Christian. Everybody thinks everything is demonic. I didn't feel it was. I don't understand it 100%, but I thought it was fascinating. There it is. There it is, everybody. For those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that other stuff, and it's Dark Siege, DARKSIEGE.com. Okay? .com. And just Defeating the Demonic. You'll see it there. Thank you there, Marla. Thank you. So make sure you go there, guys, and first of all, get the book. Yes. I love his books. Those books, you will not put the books down. I'm telling you now, Jenny, if you buy these books, you will not be able to put them down. I promise you. I remember I had to get up very early for chaplaincy at 4:00 when I was doing hospital chaplaincy. And I was like 2:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, I'm tired. I've got to get up in an hour and a half, but I couldn't put it down. Go to the website, darksiege.com. It's a true story. It's a true story. It is intense. It's an amazing story. Dark Siege. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Access via PC or laptop for best viewing experience, he says. It is, L. And it's, see, the thing is there's a lot of people who talk about scary stories, but they've never, ever worked a case in his life. Jason actually worked with the Warrens. So what bothers me is you got a lot of people talking about demonology, but they have no training in it whatsoever. None whatsoever. They've never worked a demonic case in their life. And those type of people drive me crazy because it's like, dude, then you shouldn't be putting out a book because you really don't know. Anybody can read something and regurgitate it, but there's a big difference between, reading something and actually working the cases. Yeah, Kelly, I saw that. I'm not yeah, Jason, did you see about that? Obviously, you probably know, I'm sure, Jason. The comedian, Matt, was it Rife, bought the Warrens' house. Yeah. And the museum and all its contents. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of, we got to be careful with that kind of stuff. So thank you there, medic. Okay. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know if he's, what he's planning on. But listen to this. This is a very interesting. This is by Chris Malore. This is fascinating. An ex-NASA engineer claims trillions of shape-shifting cloaked devices are hidden across Earth. This is an ex-NASA engineer. A former NASA engineer has made sensational claims that humans are not only reverse engineering alien technology, but that trillions with a T, of invisible extraterrestrial devices may already be hidden across the planet. Richard Bandurek, CEO of Field Propulsion Technologies and a former propulsion engineer of NASA and Lockheed Martin, shared the shocking allegations during a December 2024 episode of the Ecosystem Futures podcast, which has recently resurfaced on social media. In the interview, Bandurek described a covert effort by the U.S. government and private research groups to study advanced materials allegedly recovered from unidentified flying objects. He claims that many of these mysterious objects were not simply crash debris, but part of what he suspects is a vast invisible sensor network scattered across the world. The engineer admitted he didn't know who had placed the devices, but said they were unlike anything he'd ever seen. Not just decades ahead of current technology, but hundreds of years beyond it. And he described one of the such devices as a sliver of metal that could reconfigure and camouflage itself depending on its surroundings. It would cloak itself and try to blend into the environment. He said that's how we could tell it was extraterrestrial. Despite the bold claims, Bandurek offered no physical evidence to support them. Now, his comments have reignited online speculation about UFO disclosure, with some users calling 2024 the year disclosure really happened. The Pentagon, however, continues to deny the existence of any alien retrieval programs or confirmed contact with extraterrestrial life. As for why some advanced group would be scattering tiny objects as part of a global monitoring system, the engineer claimed the extraterrestrials could be trying to influence human society. Says they have all sorts of functions. This really implies that maybe this group is actually manipulating our species. Now, since the 2024 podcast, he and other guests, including UFO researcher Hal Puthoff and former NASA advisor Dr. Anna Brady Estevez have continued to share details of humanity's attempt to reverse engineer alien technology. Now, he added it was still possible to acquire these cloaked devices scattered around the world, but his access had been cut off by the group that he was working with after he chose to go public with it when he knew in 2024. Van Durek had originally been recruited by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Air Force to work on classified projects aimed at analyzing systems from crashed UFOs. However, he noted that these technologies weren't being used by the U.S. government. Instead, it was non-governmental organizations that were studying most of the recovered alien technology. He says some of the work that I was doing with NGOs, that's non-government organizations, was really exciting. But one of the other things that comes out of this is that these individuals, or whoever this group is that has this advanced technology, probably does not want us reverse engineering what they're working on. And to stop other groups or governments from utilizing these materials, well, thank you very much, scientists discovered that the unknown metals could break apart into tiny particles that couldn't be reactivated. This is just, I mean, here's the deal. There's a leaked film of this alien craft being tested over Area 51, by the way. You can look at this. These people are highly advanced in their fields. They're not, you know, somebody who watches a YouTube video and says, well, I'm an expert on ufology. I mean, these are, you heard his resume. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Oh, yeah, right. I agree, Jason. I agree. So this is interesting. I don't know about this, but I'm kind of curious what you think about this particular article. You know the Baba Vanga? Have you ever heard of Baba Vanga? Baba Vanga. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this person, but psychics, Baba Vanga, and the so-called living Nostradamus, Athos Salome, have both predicted 2025 will be the year we see a groundbreaking moment in extraterrestrial activity. And this was released July 22nd, 2025. This is by Zaha Khalid, and a part of celebrated psychics famous for their chillingly precise predictions of world events, including the coronavirus, Princess Diana's passing, and 9/11, are now forecasting a groundbreaking moment in extraterrestrial contact this year. Baba Vanga, the so-called living Nostradamus, predicted 2025 will be the year aliens make contact with Earth. The late blind Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga, who passed away in 1996 at age 84, envisioned Earth establishing communication with alien life during a major sporting event. With numerous significant events approaching, such as the Women's Euro Final, Women's Rugby World Cup, and Formula One races, speculation is mounting about when we might witness this otherworldly encounter. Now, Athos Salome, 38, from Brazil, nicknamed the Living Nostradamus, I actually had him on my show one time, has meanwhile pinpointed the James Webb Telescope as the instrument through which we'll uncover alien life. And it was launched on Christmas Day in 2021. NASA proclaimed it has the largest, most powerful, and most complex telescope ever launched into space. And thanks to the James Webb Telescope, humanity might finally get the answer to the existence of alien life. While governments like the U.S. may declassify UFO files, Salome told Female, if true, these discoveries could revolutionize one's view about the universe in which we exist and about ourselves. Well, anyway, despite Vanga passing away almost 3 decades ago, her predictions for 2025 are generating widespread discussion. She predicted this year we witness humanity establishing contact with alien life forms, experiencing breakthroughs in medical technology through laboratory-grown human organs, potentially ending transplant waiting lists and substantially prolonging human life. And according to Sky History, such medical progress could drastically boost lifespans, potentially extending them beyond 120 years. Venga's additional predictions for 2025 include multiple earthquakes and a devastating European conflict. She once declared Russia will not only survive, it will dominate the world. Salome has warned 2025 could mark the year when humanity may lose control of technology, AI. The psychic stressed that while the coming year holds promised revolutionary breakthroughs, it simultaneously presents unprecedented dangers. He proposed that the advent of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, medical advancements could signify either a revolutionary leap forward or an impending disaster, dubbing 2025 as a turning point. Well, there we are. I mean, it's been pretty interesting. It's fascinating how this person would talk about certainly Europe, and we see that going right now. Yeah. There's a lot of weird things happening. A lot of people are talking about this. There's too much. There's way too much going on, and when you kind of I don't know. Yeah, well, that's half over. That's correct. That is correct. For those of you who are interested also in exorcism, and this is by the author is just Joe, an unpublished exorcism index of the Vatican archives. So a mysterious document is said to exist within the Vatican's private art records. It was believed to contain accounts of extreme possession cases, forbidden rites, and entries into the church as quietly removed from history. So deep within the Vatican private archives is said to be a little-known document that has long intrigued priests, researchers, and curious alike, the unpublished exorcism index. And according to those familiar with the Vatican lore, the secretive text contains detailed records of exorcism, cases of possession, entities that are considered too troubling for public release. Well, obviously, there's an index on exorcisms. The index is rarely mentioned and never officially acknowledged, but its reputation has grown over the years. Some claims it offers a glimpse into the church's more concealed dealings with what it sees as spiritual darkness, a struggle not just played out in scripture, but hidden in secrecy. Well, entities, I would certainly say, not too troubling, demonic entities, even angels, angelic beings. Of course, demons are angels, but it's believed that the index includes records of rare and severe cases of demonic possession, ones that go beyond the typical boundaries of exorcism rites. These alleged accounts are said to include descriptions of unusual behavior, violent manifestations, results that defy clear explanation. What makes the index particularly compelling are the references to rites and prayers not found in standard Catholic liturgy. That's true. Prayers said to be reserved for only the most senior experienced exorcists. I don't understand why that's true. There are also claims of pages that have been removed or redacted, with some suggesting that entire cases were either destroyed or hidden elsewhere due to the nature of why they were documented. Look, I mean, when you're having an exorcism, that's going to be documented. I mean, so I don't understand why that's like a surprise to anybody. That would make sense. So I saw quite a few interesting cases. So, what is that? Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so here's the deal. The solemn rite of exorcism in the rubrics, the first rite was written in 1614. And here's what it says in the rubrics. The rubrics are the rules, the guidelines that you have to follow. And it says very clearly, I think they're TM. It says, if you are not a validly ordained priest whose bishop has given them permission to pray this rite, you have no business even reading it. Now, people get mad when I say that. I didn't write it. So I didn't write I'm just telling you what the rules say. And it's very clear. So on the solemn rite, it's just like I'm not a shaman. So therefore, I have no business performing a shamanic ritual. And in the same manner that now other denominations have their own prayers that they do, and that's fine. But the solemn rite's pretty clear about that. Okay, Brooke Steinberg, I want to talk to you guys about this because I talked to you guys about a near-death experience that I had. I've talked about this before. I had Dr. Jeffrey Long. Matter of fact, we just had a show about this a couple weeks ago. Dr. Jeffrey Long, who is a world-leading expert on near-death experiences, absolutely confirmed, based on what I told him, James, you died. And that's when I saw my mom. And I've talked about that many, many times before. That was very profound, and I'll never forget it. That this person says here, it's not very long. Oh, this is by Brooke Steinberg. This individual says, I was dead for 2 minutes. I didn't want to leave. And what I saw on the other side was beyond belief. So a woman who was pronounced dead for 2 minutes revealed the shocking discovery of what she saw on the other side. Nicole Muse was lifeless on a hospital bed, officially pronounced dead for 2 minutes, when she supposedly felt pulled from her body and entered a tunnel of light where she was met by blue-skinned beings. The 49-year-old artist was in the hospital after losing her baby, was rushed into emergency surgery, but due to complications, she started to go in and out of consciousness. She says, I didn't feel frightened. It felt like I was being called home. Thank you there, Bill. Appreciate that, Bill. The chamber was vast, larger than any earthly structure, and everything pulsed gently like a heartbeat, she added. And then she says, and then I saw them. Muse revealed that she was greeted by a blue-skinned being with human face, similar to characters in Avatar. She said 2 towering beings seated on marble-like thrones, shimmering with energy. Their eyes were large and indigo, filled with kindness and recognition, she said. They looked human, but had gentle gills on their cheeks. I remember seeing their fish-like tails, rather than legs, covered in scales. So they were both male and female, intertwined. I didn't speak in words, but I understood everything they had to tell me. She says she didn't understand their language, but the avatar-like figures allegedly made her feel at home, telepathically communicated with her that life is actually an illusion, and we start to live when we die. Muse also said that they told her that she wasn't meant to have children, and rather she was given the gift to teach people about the other side. She says, quote, I felt more known than I've ever felt in my life. I didn't want to leave, she said. I understood this place, this feeling, and I truly believe it was the original home from which we all came from. She says, I learned that death is not the end. It's a return to actual lives. And after the minute she was pronounced dead, Muse was zapped back into her body. And when her husband, Crystal, 65, tried to speak to her, she communicated in a high-pitched tone and an unfamiliar language. She said it sounded like dolphin clicks. It continued for minutes, which left everyone around us stunned, but I couldn't stop. It was coming through me, not from me. Then she says my senses were heightened and I could hear emotion in people's voices as color. I returned completely different, almost reborn. Muse hasn't had any near-death experiences since the incident, but she said she has visions of the blue-skinned figures often. She believes they are non-alien creatures from the Apokoliku interdimensional tribe, also referred as demigods, that allegedly have given civilization to mankind. It's interesting. Okay. That's an interesting near-death experience story. Rather unique. It was a little bit different than mine. My mom did not have gills. So, hey, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But that's kind of, I've studied a lot of near-death experiences, and that's a rare one. I mean, it's a lot to take in. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Yeah, so I'm not so sure about that gills, but okay, whatever. All right. No, I certainly did not have the gills situation, and alien abduction. Well, she was in the hospital, so, but I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? This is a very, I want to share this with you. I think this is more mental illness than anything. Um, this is by Tim Benall. Residents of an Argentine city were on the edge earlier this year due to a viral video showing what appeared to be a witch shuffling down the street. However, their fears were later quelled when the source of the odd scene revealed its true nature. According to local media report, the curious case began early Monday morning when the unsettling footage was posted on Argentine social media. In the video featured a hunched over figure in a cloak can be seen slowly moving along a street in the city of Cinco Saltos. Well, the footage quickly spread like wildfire, with many claiming to have also seen the mysterious stranger roaming around the community. Okay, have a good one, Jace. A panic soon erupted in Cinco Saltos, with some residents demanding that police increase the patrols in the area. Others found the figure in the footage so chilling that they refused to leave their home out of fear that they might encounter the unnerving stranger. To that end, many people online pointed to urban legends that have long suggested that Cinco Saltos is something of a haven for witches and other practitioners of the proverbial dark arts. Anyway, fortunately, the hysteria was short-lived, as a few days after the video went viral, the figure in the footage was revealed to be a costumed boy filmed by his aunt. Surprised by the response the scene generated online, the family felt compelled to come forward to assure the concerned community that the mysterious stranger was not a witch. Oh, come on. Wow. I'm telling you guys, okay. Yeah, it's like, really, guys? And this is a very interesting article about UFOs as well that I wanted to talk about too. The Air Force makes a shock and mission over the mystery of UFO swarming site that is tied to the Roswell crash. Oh, right there, Polish Prince. Listen to this, guys. This is by Chris Mallory. Newly released records have revealed never before seen footage of an unidentified object invading an Ohio military base connected to one of the most infamous UFO encounters in history. Thanks to a Freedom of Information Act request, the U.S. military has just been compelled to release documents and video of 2 incidents over Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in December 2024. According to the Air Force personnel and other witnesses in the area, the UFOs may have been part of the same drone swarms that both captivated and terrified the nation last year. Now, while the vast majority of these reports came from New Jersey and other East Coast locations, the newly declassified files show that on December 13th and the 16th, personnel at Wright-Patterson tracked and recorded the objects hovering over the secure facility. The files on the incident reveal that the Air Force considered the invasion serious enough to stop flight operations around the base, call local law enforcement, and have security use thermal imaging cameras to find the intruders. However, the case has remained unsolved as the military has not found out who or what sent the drones. Okay. You're a military base. Shoot them down. Am I missing something? The mystery of the 2024 drone swarms has become even more compelling because of the secretive work that is taking place at Wright-Patterson. UFO researchers and government whistleblowers have said on multiple occasions that the Ohio compound has a direct tie to the 1947 UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. The Air Force document revealed that on December 13, 2024, security forces around the base spotted several unmanned vehicles in the sky over Wright-Patterson around 10 p.m. Patrols reported seeing at least one small drone that was about 6 inches in length and had 4 propellers hovering over the facility. Another guard station stated that 4 quadcopter drones with red and green lights in a tight diamond formation were swarming the base, but they gained altitude and flew away at such a rapid speed after the soldiers shined their car's spotlight on them. The base's Air Force traffic tower issued a full shutdown of Wright-Patterson's airspace during the incident. This is a military base, and the control tower did a complete shutdown. But airmen never found the drones or anyone in the area who may have sent them. On December 16, a civilian walking his dog near the base perimeter spotted another cluster of drones, reported it to base personnel near the gates around 9:30. Well, I mean, yes, you would think so. I mean, this is a military base, and the air traffic controller has no idea what these things are. That is the air traffic controller's job. You don't do anything around that military base without the air traffic controller's permission. As a matter of fact, if you fly your Cessna, if you have a simple single engine plane and you're flying it close to that, they'll tell you, you better turn around. You're in restricted airspace, and this is your last warning. So you never would ever get in a secure airspace like this without permission. According to the witness's account, the drones were slowly moving in different directions. The objects appeared to be lights moving as a group, but too high to get an accurate assessment of what they looked like. One officer at Wright-Patterson reported. At 11:43, another officer spotted an unknown aircraft descending towards the base, getting within 500 feet of landing before it suddenly ascended and disappeared. A second patrol confirmed the startling report, saying this unidentified flying object just vanished after approaching the base's runway. Wow, this is insane. Now, President Trump said the mysterious swarms were not the enemy, had been authorized to conduct research. The new documents revealed the federal officials have a much different story behind closed doors. The declassified reports show that both air traffic control and the FAA were contacted by officials at Wright-Patterson because they wanted to know what was going on. Both agencies told the Air Force there were no authorized aircraft operating in the airspace on those nights. That right there, when I read this, I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So they don't know what this is. Recently, unearthed CIA files stated that the MJ-12 oversaw 4 specific projects charged with communicating with aliens, researching UFOs, recovering crashed alien ships, testing out whatever advanced technology they could find. And the research and development program was based at Wright-Patterson Air Force, according to an alleged government whistleblower. This is just, to me, the FAA is going to know. You can't, Wright-Patterson, the tower is going to know. How is it that nobody knows what these things are? That is very odd to me. When you read something like this, that makes you, it certainly makes me uncomfortable. For those of you, by the way, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if you guys are in Milwaukee, but you need to be aware of this. TK Randall writes this: a Milwaukee lion mystery resurfaces with a new big cat sighting in Wisconsin. So 10 years ago, a sighting of a lion in Milwaukee prompted a major city-wide hunt involving hundreds of people. The infamous incident began on July the 20th, 2015, when a woman called the police to report seeing a large cat in 200 block of East Garfield Avenue in Brewers Hill. The report sparked a major hunt, which involved, among other things, law enforcement officials patrolling the city. Multiple people report seeing the animal, and each time A new report came in that the authorities would scramble to reach the location before the creature moved on. At one point, they believed that they had cornered the lion, but somehow it managed to slip away. Ultimately, the creature was never caught and nobody knew what happened to it. Now, however, almost exactly 10 years later, new reports have started to emerge of a large cat in Milwaukee's Riverside Park, prompting a fresh round of speculation and intrigue. But is there really a lion loose again? Some believe that the original creature may not have been a lion at all, but a large dog, while others have pointed out that some wild animals can sometimes venture into urban areas. It is possible that these creatures have escaped from zoos and private collectors. Exactly what accounts of the Milwaukee sightings, however, remains unclear. So you just need to be aware. For those of you who are in the area, it's like great. That's all you need. Right, Deb. That's right. Yeah. Let's see. The thing is I don't know what these things are. These UFOs. Here's what I do know. Number one, I saw something in the sky. I don't know what it was. So did other people. It was on the news. It was on the news, and it was even on national television. It was in Louisville, Kentucky, and a Louisville Metro Police Department helicopter was chasing after this thing. I saw it. Went outside, saw this thing, and it was shooting out red spheres. That's what it looked like, and then took off very fast. And a bunch of people saw that in Louisville. They even interviewed the helicopter trying to chase it down. Couldn't keep up with it. But here's what I do know. I know that people who are experts, they're pilots, fighter pilots, professional pilots. These people are very analytical, very logical, very methodical. And they obviously, they're always scanning the sky. They're up in the sky all the time, more than any of us. They are the experts, even fighter pilots. And fighter pilots are telling, and they are testifying to Congress that there is something that doesn't make sense. Remember, we talked about this before, where an F-16 had their computer was tracking some UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, some object that was flying so fast that the computer was having a difficult time tracking it. And here's what's even more odd. It went underwater and came right back out. That's not, first of all, a drone is not going to outrun an F-16. So that's 100%. And a drone's not going to go underwater and come back in or come back out. But it did. So there's too many people reporting seeing these things. And what they are, we don't know. But they are metallic objects. Yeah, they're tic-tac. They're called tic-tacs. But something is happening because there's too many people seeing it. And so that's why I'm open-minded to say, well, something is there. Because people are seeing this, and I don't know. But we can clearly see that there's something going on. I think there's something going on. And I think there's something because of there's professionals that are reporting this. And they have nothing to gain they have everything to lose. They're not selling anything. They're not selling a book. They're not doing any of that stuff. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Matt Rife has officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and the Occult Museum. He is the now legal guardian for at least the next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including the Annabelle doll. And so that's concerning. That is concerning. I just hope that, I understand that there was, someone told me something about he was considering like a bed and breakfast kind of a thing, or that you can stay the night. Yeah, that's the comedian. That you can rent it out I think my sister was telling me she saw that. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. So I did. I heard about that, Mark. Yeah, it's very interesting. Oh, so he did say that in an announcement that he's going to make that a place where you can rent it out. Oh, he's going to do overnights and weekends. Yeah, I don't think. I knew Lorraine. I was friends with Lorraine, and she would not. I don't think she would go for that. I didn't know Ed, but I did know Lorraine, and I don't think she would. I'm pretty confident that she would say no, no. Yeah, that's scary stuff. You don't mess with that kind of. You don't mess with it. You got to leave that alone. We're gonna just close out on the podcast. So I say goodnight to you guys. Yeah, let me turn this down. 1 second. Yeah, so there we go. I want to remind everybody. Yeah, it's an hour 45 minutes. That's good. I gotta do several things before the night is over. So I remind you guys, don't forget. Well, I mean, he bought it. It's he's gonna do it. But don't forget tomorrow on TikTok at 6 p.m. Eastern, I have mass. And that's on TikTok, only on TikTok at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to join us, that will be fine. And then 8 p.m. is our show, Bible study. I'm doing this real quick here so I can put this up on publish. I'm really unhappy about Spreaker. They've done some really stupid stuff. I'm not happy with Spreaker at all. So I'm looking for another place to upload my music that I have and podcast. I don't know a good place to go, but I'm going to have to look at something because I'm not happy with Spreaker anymore at all. They made stupid decisions. But so there we go. For those of you who are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Rumble, remember I tell you all the time, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You are priceless, and don't let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Hopefully I see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bible study. Good night.